Let's just move to our other big story tonight, and that's, of course, our annual literacy report card in rural India, the annual Status of Education report facilitated by NGO Pratham. And this terms a national crisis in learning. The big picture, more and more children are currently in school, but less of them know the basics of reading and maths. And that's really a worrying factor. For instance, just look at these numbers have actually gone down. The quality of education, 2008, 50% of standard 3 children in government schools, this is rural India, could read a standard 1 text. Now only 30%. So in 4 years, a sharp drop of 20%. Also, the learning gap is widening between private and government schools. More and more parents are also choosing to put their children into private schools. So parents are opting to pay for education rather than go in for free education from the government. That's even though the private schools aren't necessarily of very high standard, but they're still better than government ones. So as the Pratham report says, we need to look at children, private education as well, because of course children deserve better education for the money their parents spend, and the government needs to look at the crores and thousands of crores it's sinking into education. What about the quality it's actually getting in return? I spoke a short while ago to the HRD Minister, the young Cabinet Minister, Pallam Raju. Mr. Raju, thanks so much for joining me this evening. The big picture, we just saw the statistics from the Pratham annual Status for Education report. The big picture, as I said, is that more than half of children in government schools in class 5 can't read. They can't do a simple subtraction sum. Madhav Chavan has called this a crisis in learning, the CEO of Pratham. What would you say, sir?
No, I think the trends had been good till a couple of years ago. And what the report had indicated is that for the last 2 years, there's been a drop in the outcomes. And of course, naturally, I am worried about it, and I'm hoping that by next year, things would pick up. I would want to speculate on the reasons, but I would say that the other trends, like of children getting into school and staying in school, has definitely been on the upswing.
Yes.
And in terms of the infrastructure, as far as schools are concerned, the toilets, the midday meal scheme, the trends are in the right direction. But the important thing are the learning outcomes. And I think that's what we need to focus on, and rightly so, that the 12th plan's entire focus is on the quality of the education and therefore the learning outcomes. So I'm hoping that we will be able to make a qualitative difference in the 12th 5-year plan.
No, but one interesting point which this report has brought up is actually the decline. We would expect that quality would actually increase given the increased focus on education, but they've actually linked it. Madhav Chavan made the point that this decline is almost coincides with the introduction of the Right to Education Act. Now, that is a very ambitious act which widened the scope of children in school, but is there in any sense a link to the decline as well here?
Yes, I think the focus has been on the capacity and also in our anxiety to get every kid into school. And I think that rightly so, we have to do that as we feel that it's a right. But now we have to focus on the learning outcomes. And there I think everybody has to work in unison, the school management committees, the state governments, the central government. I think we all have to be involved if we want qualitative output out of these learning outcomes.
No, but it's interesting that parents seem to be voting with their feet in a sense, because parents are preferring to pay for private education, and even though this private education may not be of the best quality, parents are preferring to pay for education rather than take free government education. Now, that's really worrying, as I said, considering the amount of money that is spent in the government school system. No, I think today parents do believe in investing in education, and if you, especially when you look at as their kids get into college, they would like them to get into professional colleges. You see them selling property, taking huge loans, and ensuring that their kids have an opportunity. I think it's a good thing that the aspirations of rural India are growing, and if they see an opportunity coming for their children out of the private schooling system, so be it. I mean, I don't grudge it, but that does not mean that as government we have to sit back and watch government schools go down in standings. So we will definitely continue to work on the schooling system,
and rightly so. In the 12th five-year plan, we are going to be focusing on the quality aspect as far as these schools are concerned, the quality aspects as far as teachers are concerned, and naturally we hope that both these aspects would impinge on the quality of the output.
Well, one issue, of course, you talk about qualities, and again the report points this out, that when you talk the right to education, in fact, there's been a complete relaxation of assessment of how children are actually doing or what they're learning up till standard 8. In fact, the focus here is on completing syllabus. The report has pointed to a question whether this is part of the reason for the decline, because now teachers are no longer assessing what children are learning. Is this something you're looking at modifying? Are you going to relook at this aspect?
No, I would want to speculate on the reasons. Let's delve into them a little more detailed manner. But I think the relaxation of the norms that, one need not, once there are no exams till a certain class, I don't think that would be a factor that would have affected. Because like I said earlier, the aspiration levels in rural India are also going up parallelly like elsewhere. And I do not think that that would result in a neglect of the studies, unless it relates to some really rural areas, or bringing into school kids who have been out of school before. So I think for them to focus on quality would be a little difficult in the initial years, yes. But I'm sure they would pick it up in the coming years.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.